Hi, dear learners. You are welcome to our 10th lesson in our Word Our People. You are welcome back from the break. I advise that you take this lesson seriously. This is a continuation of what we began with in our previous lesson. Now, I'm about to display some pictures. Look at them carefully. What phrase will you use to describe the pictures below? Look at the pictures carefully. All right. I hope you are thinking of this phrase child abuse. If yes, then you are right. Thumbs up. You have done well. That's a typical picture illustrating child abuse. Good. We are still under the substrand basic human rights. Remember, we started with the topic human rights. We define it as basic privilege one enjoys, irrespective of one's nationality, ethnic groups, and belief. Good. And then we also identify some examples of human rights and freedoms that you and I can enjoy, even as children. We mention right to live, right to education, freedom to belong to a nationality, society, a family, freedom of movements, freedom of speech, and the like. Today, what are we looking at? We are looking at some human rights abuses against children. Some human rights abuses against children. Those ill treatments that children are exposed to against their rights. That's what we want to look at today. Can you think of some of these abuses? Just spend some time to think about them. All right. So why don't you go through the list? One of the abuses is what we call child labor. Some children are subject to hard labor, labor meant for adults. Some do construction work. Some are street hawkers when they're supposed to be in the classroom. Some go fishing, farming, doing a lot of hard work that are not meant for them, that even deprive them from enjoying the rights to education. We are not saying children shouldn't help their parents. Children must help parents in house chores, go on errands, and the like. But to be subjected to work or labor meant for adults, too big for their little strength to bear, we're saying their rights are being abused. All right, let's look at the next common abuse that some children are exposed to. We have physical or sexual abuse. Yes, you agree with me that some children are subjected to physical maltreatment, beatings. Some have part of their body burnt or put into fire just because they are accused of stealing or disobedience. That's physical abuse. We are not saying children must not be punished for their evil. The mere fact that children must be punished for that evil or stealing shouldn't cause them to be physically abused with weapons, with objects that are not meant for humans. Under sexual abuse, we are saying that some children are abused sexually. Some adults, irresponsible adults, defile children. Some sexual abuse are not by physical contact, but are verbal, in the sense that they are sexually exploited verbally, and that constitutes sexual abuse. Then we also look at bullying. Now, bullying is a form of physical abuse or physical harsh treatment towards any child by a person or group of persons who might not be in any familial relationship, that is family relationship with a child, and it is certain to happen at places like schools, outside home, by older children. So bullying is also a form of child abuse. Then we have what we call emotional abuse. Emotional abuse. Any abuse that has to do with the emotion of the child, his or her feeling of the mind, that temper with the soundness of the mind, are all categorized under emotional abuse. It may appear in the form of insults, or comments that are geared towards, reducing the confidence of the child, causing the child to feel inferior or have inferiority complex, to have self-doubt, to have fear, all constitutes emotional abuse. And you agree with me, some children are going through this. Some emotional abuse comes from parents, step-parents, outsiders, siblings, etc. Then we also have neglect. Now, the neglect has to do with a situation where the child's freedom of association, child's freedom of education, of belonging, is abused. Now, if you go to town in Accra, in some parts of Accra, you see a lot of children hawkers, children who walk about as beggars. And if you interview some of these children, you realize that they have been neglected by their families. Probably because their parents, their biological parents, are no more, and so they are orphans and have nobody to take care of them, and so they are rejected to, move about aimlessly. That's a form of abuse. My dear learners, this list does not exhaust all the abuses that children go through. We have a lot, but for time's sake, we've underscored only these ones. I pray you will do further research to get to know more. If I ask you, what have you learned so far? I expect that you should be able to discuss this with your daddy, or mommy, or your sibling about the main points that we have covered in the lesson. Good. There's a little change in our assignment now. The assignment is no longer separated from the lesson itself. It's not attached to the lesson. And so, as you observe the lesson or watch the video, you answer the questions for these assignments. And it reads, explain in one sentence each 5 examples of human rights abuses against children. You can mention other abuses that we have not covered in the lesson, so far as they are regarded as abuses, and I will be sure to mark them correct. Make sure you use only one sentence each to explain the abuses against children. Good. In our next lesson, we are sure to look at the impacts, the effects of child abuses, or the effects of abuses against children. So it would be nice if you make a research on this. Now, till we meet again, bye-bye.